Okay, guys, today we are going to work on our conclusion. Yesterday you wrote an introduction, and today we are writing our conclusion. So this is my essay. You can see that here's my introduction, and I have it written out. I have my 3 paragraphs, and now I am ready to kind of conclude everything that I've done. I usually leave the conclusion for last because this is kind of a summary of everything I've said. There are different ways of doing this a lot of people offer the hourglass strategy, which just means that it's a reflection of your introduction. So to write a conclusion that reflects your introduction and it's an hourglass, it kind of is a butterfly. It's a reflection that goes from the bottom to the top. So, for example, I would look at my last sentence and kind of rewrite it into my conclusion, and that would be my very first sentence in my conclusion. Then I would look at the next sentence up and kind of restate it in different ways, and then make that my second sentence in my conclusion. And I just keep moving from the bottom up until I kind of restate the introduction. In this case, for example, I said this year was a special one for me. That's sentence number 1. My husband and I received the blessing of a little baby girl. Number 2, we had planned to welcome this little angel into our lives the moment we knew we were pregnant, but we never realized how unplanned our adventures will be with her. So I have 3 sentences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way up into my conclusion. So I will start with the very last sentence here where it says, we had planned all the way to adventures will be with her. So instead of writing exactly what I wrote again, I'm going to rewrite it in different ways, saying the same thing. So the adventures with her had been unplanned. So maybe I can just say that, which means the same thing I had before. The adventures we had with Ellie were unplanned. So I had said that we had planned to welcome this little girl into our lives the moment we knew we were pregnant, but we realized how unplanned our adventures will be with her. We didn't realize. So our adventures with Ellie were unplanned, but we had planned to welcome her. So I said the same thing. I just moved words around, and I just did the topic sentence at the bottom, and that becomes the introduction of my conclusion. Then I go to the second sentence, so I already did this one, so I go to the next sentence, which is here. It said, my husband and I received the blessing of a little baby girl. So the adventures we had with Ellie were unplanned, but we had planned to welcome her. We love our baby girl. We love our baby girl. Right there. I said the same thing with different words. And then I have one more sentence before that, which says, this year was a special one for me. Then I can say, this was an unforgettable year. So now I have a conclusion that kind of mirrors my introduction. That is one way of doing it. Now my conclusion looks a little empty. So I can add another strategy here. And instead of just mirroring my introduction, remember, I'm not just rewriting the introduction like by copying and pasting. I'm actually summarizing what I had written, so it kind of shortened it a little bit. So another strategy that I can use here to have a really good conclusion is to look at what each paragraph was about. So what made this an unforgettable year? So first, I found out that I was pregnant because I had dizziness, nausea, and headache filled my body on December 28th, 2019. So I'm talking here about the day I found out I was pregnant. So this was an unforgettable year. So I can say first, I found out I was pregnant. felt completely sick. Then, or second, maybe I should do second since I do first second. And I talk about this. I talk about how I gave birth to Ellie and how it was a C-section. It wasn't really planned, but I did it, and this is kind of my show, more my show paragraph. So I found out that I was pregnant and felt completely sick. Second, I was rushed into an operating room to give birth. That's like my summary of this paragraph. And then the last paragraph talks about how unexpected we had to have surgery for Ellie. So, and just her mouth to kind of break down the tight cheeks and tongue ties that she had. Um, so I was second, I was operating room, and third, Ellie ended up having oral surgery at 6 weeks old. So adventures we had with Allie were unplanned, but we had planned to welcome her. We love our baby girl. This was an unforgettable year. First, I found out that I was pregnant and felt completely sick. Second, I was rushed into an operating room to give birth. Third, Ellie ended up having oral surgery at 6 weeks old. So now I have a really good conclusion where I like mirror my introduction, then I summarize in a very short sentence my paragraph one, my paragraph two, my paragraph three. If I have more paragraphs, obviously I can add more. If I have less paragraphs, then obviously you do less. You just have a first and second, or you don't even have a first, you just have a one and only, right? If you have only one paragraph. And then I can leave my readers with something to think about. So, this was an unforgettable year. First, I found out that I was pregnant, and second and third, then leave it with like a good kick of a sentence. So I go unexpected, no, surprising. I would never trade what I have lived for anything else. I have now my like closing statement, and it can be something really cool. Since I'm talking about somebody, this is somebody special, maybe you can say something like, all those experiences have made this person even more special to me. Just make sure that you have a concluding thought there. Even if you don't summarize and you just mirror your introduction, you still need to have kind of a concluding thought there. So that concluding sentence is very key to making your writing even better. So make sure that you have that when you're writing a conclusion. Those are 3 strategies that you can adapt to your conclusion. 1, mirror your introduction. 2, summarize your paragraphs. And 3, have a final thought that kind of wraps up your paper and makes it even better.